predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show. I'm your host, Jeff Crilley, and I'm thrilled to have in studio Stephen McCoy. He is a best-selling author of a book called How to Sell Homes Fast for Top Dollar, and a very successful agent. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Honored to be here.
Yeah.
This is an amazing opportunity.
Well, DFW is such a hot market. How did you find yourself in real estate?
It goes way back. Ultimately, as we talked about before, I've been selling homes since 2004. I started at a local builder in East Texas who gave me an opportunity, and it was quite the opportunity. They put me in a builder trailer in the middle of a field and gave me a 3-ring binder on how to sell homes. And they said, good luck. And that was it. So I had to sink or swim. And I never will forget, there was very low, people coming in because there was no model home, right? It was just a builder trailer in the middle of a field, kind of a field of dreams, if you will, right? And definitely got my attention real quick because, 2-3 people would come in during the week, and I had to be very good at my job or I wouldn't have anything to eat, right? So you get pretty good pretty fast, or you get out of the business.
Absolutely.
And ultimately that's how it all started, getting my start in new home sales, and from new home sales leverage that into moving to Dallas, doing new home sales, and then going into residential resale.
Well, I think people watch these shows like $1 Million Listing and they think, oh, this is easy. And I heard a statistic where 95% of all realtors just kind of wash out in the first year.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as it looks on TV, is it?
No, it's in fact, it's very detrimental to someone's career to get training right out of the gate, to partner with a top brokerage to get the right training, because you can really put a buyer or seller in a bad position, and you have to look past your own needs and put your needs in others and put them first. And you're dealing with people's largest purchase, if you will, and most of the time their largest asset. So you want to be very skillful in positioning them to have the absolute best outcome, versus coming into the business brand new. I'm going to sell houses and I'm here for the money. Well, that will not get you anywhere, and that's more than likely why people wash out. If they're there for the wrong reasons, and that's any business, but more so in real estate because it's very difficult, very
and you're
cutthroat.
You're doing a lot of work in the prosperous Salina area. Man, Correct. That place has just blown up, hasn't it?
It has. It was actually featured in Dallas Business Journal last week as Salina is the fastest growing community in North Texas.
Wow.
Coincidentally, we moved there 2 years ago with that thought in mind, so we hit the right place.
That's
It's kind of like Frisco, 10, 15 years ago. Prosper is growing, and Salina is actually the largest city in Collin County.
No kidding.
The largest land mass in Collin County. So if you can imagine what Frisco is and the growth and economics that it has behind it, Salina is going to surpass that in a few years.
Now, you've become very successful at flipping houses, and we've got a little video that you took of a property.
Yeah.
And maybe you can describe for us what was it about this property that attracted you?
All right, so we target motivated sellers. Our goal is we feature main focus is getting results, right, and getting the job done and netting people the most amount of money. So we bought this home over in Arlington, and that house, it needed a lot of work. The seller, the actual owner had passed, and the estate had inherited the property, and this is one of our top clients that inheritance properties, because consumers, they're not expecting to inherit a home that needs a lot of work. So we bought this house. You saw those gray areas in the foundation. Those were actually new piers that were put in the foundation. Mm-hmm. And we went in. We never do the HGTV, like lipstick on a pig, so to speak. If we're going to do something, I always tell my wife, I do this as if me and you were going to live there, right? And always put myself in the future owner's shoes versus cutting corners. So walking through this house, it's a small 3-bedroom, 2-bath. We call those basic Sallies, right? Because it's not that elaborate. And we learned our lesson. We did some elaborate homes, and those we actually lost $80,000 on a flip at one point.
Wow. Well, let's talk about that, because buyer beware for the audience that think, you know, from watching Flip This House or something like that, that is easy. Flips can flop, can't they?
Yeah, that's more than the show leads to believe, because it has a lot of ripple effects, and that's not only on your finances but also your stress, your relationship. The ripple effect is huge when you take a loss of $80,000. I know a lot of different people are in a lot of different levels of income, but take $80,000 away, and that's going to put someone in their tracks, right? So,
sure. Do you advise people to be diverse in their portfolio? Like, a lot of people will have all stocks, and of course, you know, a war breaks out and the stock market can plunge. Real estate, for the most part, it has been consistent over the years. There are little dips, but it almost always appreciates, doesn't it?
You know, I'm an all-in person, so diversification is important for some. I feel leverage your assets in a whole and go all in, because if you want the best in anything you're seeking, you have to be 110%, right? So I'm somewhat against the balancing act, because we go all in. And so real estate, yes, it's a great investment. We always say there's 3 exit strategies on every home, right? So you buy a home with the goal of flipping it for a profit. That's the buzz behind all the HGTV shows. But in that instance of the flop, what are the 3 exit strategies? A, you can flip it for a profit. B, you can sell it, basically break even, or take the loss and stop the bleeding. That's what we chose on that big one. That house was $780,000. It was over in Benttree, and we learned to stay in that sweet spot, as shown in that video of the basic Sally home, and that's where that came from. Number 3 is you can hold it and lease it out. Now, my best friend tells me very often, sometimes after a few adult beverages on the boat, he'll say, "Hey, Steve-O, how many of those flips you still own?" And I always have to answer and say, "Valente, we buy, fix, and flip. We don't hold any of them." He's like, "Yeah, I'm on about 14 homes now, and they're at a positive cash flow." So I always have to eat some crow right then and say,
Sure.
"Damn, Valente, you're right, man. I should have held those things," because now some of those homes are appreciated in DFW. Here in DFW, almost like California, where they went up 50, 60, 70,000 over what I sold them for. And we do mailers back to our database, and sometimes there'll be a return address and say, "No longer living there," whatever. And I look it up, and sure enough, that home that I sold to them, that I made a small profit on, they went on to make more than me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
Yeah, so it's kind of a reverse psychology. I'm like, man, I should have held those things. But yes, we buy, fix, and flip homes. Also, we help buyers and sellers obtain home ownership.
Well, the book again is How to Sell Homes Fast for Top Dollar. Stephen McCoy is my guest, and give us your website.
So it's StephenMcCoyRealestate.com. That's the
Stephen
website.
McCoy, Realestate.com. Well, thank you so much. You'll have to come back.
Awesome. Let's do it.
All
Sounds
right.
like a plan.
Appreciate you, sir.
Let's make it happen.
All right, that's it for now. We'll see you next time.